Good morning and welcome back to Shadowrun Week here on Gaming with ADHD. It is Flashback Friday and today I have a retro unboxing for you of a much older game in the Shadowrun universe. Released in 1990, Shadowrun Dmz, or Downtown Militarized Zone, allows you as players to engage in a small scale skirmish battle between gangers, shadowrunners, corporate security, whoever it is that you want to fight against in your game. Building off of the Battletroops rule set released previously for Battletech, it has its own charms, and I have not gotten to play it yet, but I wanted to take a look at this product and look at the differences, between the art and the styles that we see today, and how the product was produced, more than 30 years ago when Shadowrun was still new. So, with that said, don't forget, subscribe to the channel. I do put out a few videos every week covering all sorts of tabletop gaming subjects, and I'd love for you to come along and see what we have to offer. And, if you like what we're doing here, don't forget to like the video and comment down below. Have you played DMZ? Have you even seen it before? Did you know that it existed? Would you like to see something from Catalyst Game Labs again in this kind of vein? So, with that being said, let's get into it. All right, so this is the cover for Shadowrun Dmz. And if you ask me, it absolutely captures that feel of early 90s Shadowrun. You've got gangers, you've got motorcycles, you've got, you can see magic and machine guns, the whole gamut of what you would expect in a suburban gang war. You've even got explosions here in the background. So right away from the cover of the box, they are conveying what this game is and what it's all about. So let's open it up and take a look at what we get inside. All right. Now, I am calling this an unboxing. It is mostly intact. I don't know if it's necessarily in order. I also have a surprise at the bottom of the box, which I added in there, mostly for storage sake, but I was kind of surprised to actually be able to find a copy of it, so I'm actually pretty excited about it. So, things may be a little out of order from how it would have been released originally, but it'll be close enough so that you get an idea. All right. So, first off, you have these little clips. These are for all of your standees, because this was the early days of Shadowrun. They didn't really have any miniatures yet. Miniatures would be released at a later date, but they had not been released at the time of this printing. Now, there are two books for the game, and we'll take a look at the inside of both of them. We've got the rules, and we've got archetypes. Now, the archetypes has the different character types that you can play. It also has 4 introductory scenarios to walk you through how to actually play the game. Now, when I got my copy last year, I did get it used. Everything in this has been previously owned. When I got my copy last year, the only thing that there was the rule book. I could not find the archetypes book to save my life, but literally today, just before I started recording this, the FedEx guy showed up with my box. I wish he would have shown up earlier, but clearly they aren't working on my schedule. For shame. All right. Now, they reprint in black and white the art from the cover of the box. We've got a table of contents. 60 pages of rules, introduction. I've got our writing credits here. And let's see here. So going through all of the components. They've got motorcycles, and so counters for those, reaction arcs. All right. Preparing to play, choose a scenario. So one thing I absolutely love about these older books is they absolutely just crammed it full of art. Almost every single page, if it doesn't have diagrams, as you can see over here for movement, it's got some sort of art to help convey that flavor. And I think they absolutely cover just, some great looks. I mean, clearly the art is 30 years old. They were probably not paying for art the way that, they pay for art nowadays, but they got enough of it and just, stuffed these books full of it. When I spoke to Jason and I mentioned to him that I wanted to see more art, he mentioned that he doesn't like reusing art for new products, but I wish he would, especially for, taking some of the art from previous editions and putting it into newer edition books, just so that we could get some more of this look. I realize the game is very different, like the style. The early 90s Shadowrun is more along the lines of like Akira is how I would kind of describe it as far as its looks, for biker gangs, things like that. So it's definitely evolved, but some of this old stuff I absolutely love the charm. Now, like I said, the rules are based off of Battletroops, which is a Battletech infantry game. Battletroops was released in its own box set, but it obviously doesn't want to deal with battle mechs. It's about the infantry, the foot soldier. But there's still more things within Shadowrun. You've got magic. You've got the motorcycles. You've got all sorts of things that give it its own flavor. So the fact that they were able to take that, I couldn't find many reviews as far as how the game actually plays, but a lot of people did talk about how they liked it. There are rules for converting Shadowrun first edition characters into DMZ, but from my understanding is that they do not play as well. See, look at this. There's this 2-page full, not quite edge to edge, but close enough, art. Just absolutely fantastic. Just absolutely takes me back as a kid. But yeah, just pictures of everything. So they've got rules for converting your character over. Obviously, I haven't played that, but some of the rules talked about how the converted characters didn't really play as well, but I did hear about some people taking that and using DMZ for the combat instead of using the regular rules. We then got a Shadowrun timeline, different tables for your weapons, then breakdown of the different maps, which we will get to those in a second. All right, so that's the rule book, but I still want to go through the archetypes book. Now, it's not quite as long. It's about 40 8 pages total. But this was one where there is, yeah, again, going back to the art, and let me zoom out a little bit. So going back to the art, they've got these great 2-page spreads here. Now, they reuse some of that, but, you know, so like we've got this guy right here is clearly this guy right here. But, you know, again, every type of character that they give you some, you know, some piece of art, who they're supposed to represent. We've got our corporate security guard, again, being represented in our 2-page spread. And they've actually got multiples of these spreads. I mean, what the heck is that thing even? But all of the art, even if they're, you know, chopping it up and reusing it for different images, they're just, you know, giving you so much indication as to what this game world is, what it looks like, what kind of people populate it. We've got our hooded Humanist Polo Club member, you know, troll bodyguard. I mean, it's clearly a product of its time, but you can still tell just the care that these artists put in, even though they probably weren't getting paid very much for their art. You know, but they had an outlet, they had a creative outlet, which is one thing that I've always loved about gaming. Just, if you want to try something, you can do it. You have options, and I really, really like what they did here. Anyway, so going through, you've got all of that. You then get 4 scenarios at the end, teach you how to play the game, and then you've got different character sheets. So combat, magic and combat, and motorcycles. All right. Also, as was common at the time, the FASA Corporation mail order form. I don't think it will work anymore. It's a bit out of date. Also, FASA doesn't exist. All right. Now, this I'm actually really excited about because of the FedEx guy's delivery. I actually have almost perfectly intact counter sheets for. Here's our motorcycles. We've got dragons, more motorcycles, more characters. And that's one of 4 sheets. So there's our first one. We've then got our second. So these are your basically Overwatch arcs. They would cost you a certain amount of movement points. Grenade tokens for marking what floor you're on, comm links, breaking through walls. Let's see, we've got more character types, and some that have clearly been punched out. We've got more character types. We've got critters. You know, they give you pretty much everything that you could run into in Shadowrun in token form, and I think that's awesome. More Overwatch arcs, explosion templates. I believe these are pedestrians, so just, you know, you need a regular civilian there. Let's see, actually. Didn't realize that I didn't have this zoomed in so that you guys could see it better. Whoop, these are coming apart. But yeah, the art, again, just captures that early 90s cyberpunk feel. And I love what they did with these. got our Decker here with his giant keyboard. Shamans, street mages. I mean, yeah. Shadowrun from the early 90s is a little bit cornball, but it still just takes me back. All right, so then what they included, first off, were 8 of these cardstock fold-out maps. So we've got a capsule hotel. We've got a nightclub with a stage. We've got some sort of, mechanics shop or a street dock shop. That looks sort of like an autopsy table. Now they gave you 8 of these maps. Some of the art is a little more detailed. Some of it is a little more, for lack of a better way to put it, I'm calling it sketch-like. Got the front half of a car. Now you're going to notice all of these stars. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that. So you're going to notice these stars on the map. And instead of putting any kind of like a hex map or a grid map, these stars represent the locations where you would put your characters on the map. Distance from one star to the next is about 1 inch, which represents about 2 meters or about 6 feet in the game. All right, we've got a stuffer shack. We've got a warehouse. I mean, just the look on these takes me back to some of those, old school role-playing modules. Point out here, it's clearly not folded properly, but it is folded as you would find at the factory. Even folding stuff has gotten to be much more precision these days. So this looks kind of like an office building of some sort. We've then got a mechanic shop or junkyard. Yet another corporate office. Corporate offices seem to be a big deal in Shadowrun for some reason. This could be a house or an apartment. Some sort of a research lab. Not sure why the research lab is next to the apartment. I believe you were supposed to actually cut these buildings out, and I'll get to that in just a second. No way am I cutting these. Looks like a sort of junkyard turned container apartment complex. Maybe the Orc Underground. I don't know. All right, now this one is significantly larger. This is the Renraku Mall. Again, you can notice the imperfect folds down here. Got a nightclub. We've got more. We've got big open area, down ramp. Oh, this is fun. So we've got... actually, let's zoom in here a little bit. Neon Glide Fashion. You's gonna eat that 4. So clearly there are at least 3 other locations. We've got Boatsing's Hardware, Free Electrons, Dragon Leather and Elven Lace. This is fantastic. I didn't realize that they named all of the shops in the mall. PCO? I don't know. PCO Holodrome 5. We've got the Matrix. That is awesome. And then it's not coming through very well. Got the Nefertiti Lounge. Okay, that is fantastic. I didn't realize those were all named. All right. So we then have this. So this is just a gray map with white stars. Again, the stars are for your movement. We've got a little bit of a cheat sheet here for scattering from a throw. But basically, this is supposed to represent pavement. So when I mentioned earlier that you're supposed to cut those buildings out, it's so that you can put them onto this larger map. Basically, it is about 34 by 22 for its map size. And so this would then be your streets, and then you cut out the buildings, put them on the map, and that's where that comes in. So they did give you 2 of those, but we'll leave it at that. All right, now very excited about this next part. I was flipping through eBay looking to get just the Archetypes book. Like I said, mine came without it, and so I just wanted to replace the book, be able to put it in this particular video. While I was doing that, I noticed that the auction actually came with something else. Sprawl Maps. Now, I didn't know what Sprawl Maps was, so I decided I would look on eBay for individual Sprawl Maps. And I didn't I had no idea, and they were going for about $200 a piece. As far as I was concerned, that wasn't happening, so I wasn't going to get it. But while looking at this auction, it actually included it, and it was a reasonable price, so I went ahead and grabbed it. Much to my wife's chagrin. She was just off camera. Anyway, so we're going to take a look at this one. Now, this was released separately. This came out in 1994 and is basically the only expansion for DMZ. It is another set of 8 maps, but technically it's 7 maps, okay? So you've got map 1, which is split into A and B, and basically it is 2 halves of one giant lounge. So you get a big stage, dance floor, and the area around it. Let's see if I can zoom out any more. Yeah, I'm still not getting a whole lot more area. Sorry for my infamously small recording area if you are new here. Let's see. Map number 2 is a variety of apartments. Now, these are definitely set up for cutting apart. The stars are not quite as well lined up. There are obviously no stars in between. So that's a little disappointing. Not really anyone I can complain to 30 years later. All right, map number 3 is an indoor or outdoor park. So it is technically an indoor park. If you want to say it's outdoors, go right ahead. So we've got that. You can see the, let's zoom in a little bit because you can see the detail on the tile work. Again, you still have your stars. I might have to go get some photocopies of this for personal use. This is super awesome. All right, number 4 is subway or monorail cars. So they give you 3 cars, because obviously if you're going to be fighting along a subway, it's fun to be able to go between the cars and move, farther down the road. So that's kind of cool. Map number 5, we've got the Monorail Station. I mean, if you're going to have a monorail or a subway, you need a station. So here we have that. And then maps number 6 and number 7 are different warehouses. So we've got 2 small warehouses here. And then we've got 1 larger warehouse. And that is sprawl maps. Honestly, I am super excited and super happy that I was able to bring this to you. As I've been saying all week, Shadowrun is really unique. It's not the only game that does it, but it covers so many different ways of playing the game and being involved in the universe. I really like the way that Jason put it in our interview yesterday, in that part of their design philosophy has been to bring Shadowrun to the players. Not everybody wants to play a role-playing game. Not everybody wants to play a miniatures game. But Shadowrun can be so fun and so unique and so, so diverse that, to be able to have these different ways of playing, I think is a testament to the strength of the game and the brand itself. I do wish they would come out with another product like DMZ. Some sort of a small-scale skirmish type game that either could replace the combat system in a role-playing game or just be something fun for those that prefer the miniature style game. I think this product alone was so much fun, being able to look and see that old 90s art that some people today are going to, complain. It looks too cartoony. It looks bad. But when you're old like me, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. The 90s weren't perfect, but there was a lot of fun if you knew what you were looking at. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate if you stayed here this entire time. If you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's lots of stuff to cover for Shadowrun, and while I do diversify into all sorts of gaming topics, I do hope that you'll find something here that you like. So, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.